On April 16, 2024, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, was hit by an unprecedented heavy rain. In just 24 hours, this desert city, which has always been hot and dry, received 142 millimeters of rainfall, setting a record in 75 years. This sudden rain from the sky not only severely damaged the urban operation of Dubai, but also caused casualties in neighboring Oman and also affected Bahrain, Qatar, and other regions. The violent storm exposed the serious impact of climate change on this part of the Arabian Peninsula. Experts say that human-induced global warming is exacerbating the frequency of extreme weather events here. What is worrying is that even in the United Arab Emirates, which has been using artificial rainfall in the past, the cause of this heavy rain may be due to its early artificial intervention. This undoubtedly raises questions about whether the technology will have negative consequences. In the face of this sudden flood, Dubai and even the entire United Arab Emirates are in dire straits. Main roads were flooded, the international airport was paralyzed, and many houses and shops were severely soaked. The UAE government urgently evacuated the trapped people and asked civil servants to work remotely. However, it is obviously not easy to escape from such a huge flood. The violent storm sweeping across the Arabian Peninsula has undoubtedly sounded a heavy alarm to this desert hinterland, which has always been hot and dry. The dangers of climate change continue to spread. How the desert country UAE copes with such severe challenges has undoubtedly become an urgent problem for policymakers to solve. As a typical desert country, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, has always been synonymous with drought and water shortage. The average annual rainfall is only 94.7 millimeters, and even in the coldest winter, rainfall is very limited. However, as fate would have it, on April 16th, this always sunny city was hit by an unprecedented rainstorm. According to meteorological data collected by Dubai International Airport, starting late on April 16th, the city ushered in a process of rainfall that gradually increased from light rain to heavy rain. At about 9 a.m. the next day, the rain suddenly increased violently, with thunder and lightning and howling winds. In just a few hours, Dubai received 142 millimeters of rainfall, which is equivalent to the total rainfall in the region for a year and a half. This rainfall from the sky not only lasted for a whole day, but was also accompanied by hail, bringing an unprecedented serious impact to the city. Main roads were flooded and highways turned into raging rivers, luxury shopping malls were flooded and shops were forced to close. Even Dubai International Airport, known as the best airport in the world, was paralyzed in the heavy rain. At the airport, planes struggled to glide through the water, many flights were cancelled or delayed, and passengers were stranded in the terminal. Videos circulating on social media clearly recorded the shocking scene of a large passenger plane, slowly sliding through several feet of water. This hub, which usually operates in an orderly manner, suddenly fell into chaos. Dubai International Airport was forced to temporarily suspend operations for 25 minutes and cancelled more than 50 flights. An airport spokesman admitted that the flooding resulted in limited transportation options and severely affected flight operations, as many crew members were unable to attend their duties. During this period, Emirates and low-cost airline Fly Dubai were also forced to suspend all flights from Dubai Airport. City streets also quickly degenerated into raging rivers. As can be seen in the video, the main road was completely submerged and many vehicles were trapped in the water. They could only watch as their luxury cars floated away. Some helpless pedestrians had no choice but to walk through floodwaters that reached their calves to escape the danger. In some areas, the water was so strong that vehicles were completely submerged, with only the roof of the car still exposed. Thank you for liking, leaving comments, subscribing and turning on the little bell. We will update every day. In addition, many residential areas also suffered severe flooding, with the bottom floors of some houses flooded and some leaking. Police and first responders were trudging through the flooded streets, trying to lend a helping hand, but they were clearly stretched thin for a flood of this scale. Witnesses said that a 70-year-old man died after being washed away by floods in Ras Al Khaimah, the northernmost emirate of Dubai. This was the first casualty caused by the heavy rain. It can be said that this sudden heavy rain completely disrupted Dubai's original urban order. Main roads were flooded, the international airport was paralyzed, and residential buildings were damaged. Under the raging floods, this fashion capital, which has always been proud of, fell into dire straits for a while. Both transportation and daily life have been severely affected. In response, the Dubai government had to urgently activate an emergency plan, calling on residents to stay away from flooded areas and evacuate severely affected areas. For the United Arab Emirates, which has always been dry and short of water, this heavy rain, which set the highest record in 75 years in just 24 hours, is undoubtedly an unprecedented weather change. According to information from Dubai International Airport, the city actually received 142 millimeters of rainfall during this rainfall, which is equivalent to the total rainfall in the local area for a year and a half. This number is enough to illustrate the rarity of this rainstorm. As a typical desert country, the average annual rainfall in the UAE is only 94.7 millimeters. Even in the coldest winter, the rainfall is almost negligible. However, in this sudden rain from the sky, Dubai received a total rainfall equivalent to a year and a half in just one day. This is undoubtedly the worst rainfall event this country has ever seen. The raging storm is not limited to Dubai. As a neighboring country in the eastern part of the Arabian Peninsula, Oman also suffered from this heavy rain. According to a report from Oman's National Emergency Management Committee, in just a few days, at least 18 people died due to flooding in the local area, including 10 primary school students. After the rulers of Oman learned the news, they went to express their condolences. As a country located at the eastern end of the Arabian Peninsula, Oman itself is also a dry and water-scarce region. Normally, the annual rainfall here is only about 100 millimeters. However, this time under the influence of the same cyclonic system, Oman also suffered more than a year's worth of rainfall. Such severe rainstorms naturally brought huge disasters to this country. According to reports, some areas in Oman have received more than 180 millimeters of rainfall in just a few days, almost twice the local annual average. The floods were raging, not only destroying houses but also devouring innocent lives. The Omani government responded urgently, ordering the closure of schools and requiring civil servants to work remotely from home. However, it is obviously not easy to escape from such a huge flood. In addition to Dubai and Oman, the destructive power of this storm has also spread to other Arabian Gulf countries. Countries such as Bahrain and Qatar were also severely affected by the heavy rain. In Bahrain, overnight lightning attacks brought unprecedented panic to the local people. In Qatar, heavy rains have also had a serious impact on local infrastructure and traffic order. It can be said that this violent storm not only hit Dubai hard, but also brought huge disasters to the countries surrounding the Arabian Peninsula. In just a few days, 18 people died and countless people and property were damaged. For these arid and barren desert countries, this sudden rain from the sky is undoubtedly a heavy blow. In the face of this sudden heavy rain disaster, the UAE government also adopted a series of emergency measures. First of all, in order to mitigate the disaster, the UAE government urgently closed schools and some government agencies and required civil servants to work remotely from home. This is obviously to reduce people's activities on the streets and reduce the risk of casualties. At the same time, the government also evacuated severely affected areas and mobilized police and rescue personnel for emergency relief. However, in the face of such a huge flood, their actions were still subject to certain restrictions. Some trapped residents could only seek safety on foot, and an elderly man was killed in the northern emirate of Dubai. In addition, the National Meteorological Center of the United Arab Emirates also issued an emergency red warning, calling on the general public to stay away from flooded areas and take necessary preventive measures. The government also mobilized oil tankers to pump out water on the streets, but it was still unable to deal with a disaster of this scale. The root cause of this heavy rain is obviously not accidental. Experts point out that human-induced global warming is exacerbating extreme weather events in this region. For a long time, countries such as the United Arab Emirates have been using artificial rainfall technology, namely cloud seeding, to increase rainfall. This practice aims to stimulate the precipitation process by applying chemicals to clouds. But ironically, the direct cause of this heavy rain was the artificial rainfall operation carried out by the government in the early stage. Habib, a professional meteorologist at the UAE National Meteorological Center, said that on April 15th and 16th, they carried out a total of 7 cloud seeding missions. This artificial intervention in the weather may have aggravated the intensity of this heavy rain. Dubai is located in the vast desert area of the Arabian Peninsula with an arid and hot climate, making it one of the driest areas in the world. But what is confusing is that although artificial rainfall has successfully increased the overall rainfall, it has also led to the occurrence of extreme rainfall events and triggered serious flood disasters. This seemingly contradictory phenomenon reflects Dubai's unique climate challenges and water resources management dilemmas. First, we need to understand the history and motivations behind the use of rain catalysts in Dubai. As a city located in a desert area, Dubai has long faced severe water shortages. In order to cope with this challenge, the Dubai government began to use artificial rainfall technology on a large scale since the 1980s. By spraying rain-causing agents, such as silver iodide, salt, dry ice, etc., clouds can be promoted to form rainfall, thereby increasing rainfall. This approach has alleviated Dubai's drought conditions to a certain extent and provided necessary water resources for local agricultural development and urban construction. Secondly, what cannot be ignored in Dubai is that artificial rainfall technology also has many disadvantages and risks. First of all, the effect of this technology is limited and cannot completely overcome the fundamental problem of climate drought. On the contrary, over-reliance on artificial rainfall may lead to interference with natural rainfall patterns, thereby exacerbating the occurrence of extreme weather events. In addition, large-scale spraying of rain catalysts may also have adverse effects on the local ecological environment, such as contaminating soil and water resources. More importantly, Dubai's practice of artificial rainfall has inevitably caused serious flooding problems. Although the increase in overall rainfall helps alleviate drought, a large amount of rainfall concentrated in a short period of time can easily cause the urban drainage system to be unable to drain away in time, causing serious waterlogging and flood disasters. It is not difficult to find that whenever Dubai carries out large-scale artificial rainfall, there will often be widespread water accumulation, road blockage, traffic paralysis, and other situations in the urban area, which will have a serious impact on residents' lives and the operation of the city. This drought-flood cycle highlights the complex dilemma Dubai faces in water resources management. On the one hand, Dubai must alleviate drought through artificial rainfall, but on the other hand, over-reliance on this method may aggravate the occurrence of flood disasters. This paradox reflects the severe challenges climate change brings to the region. It is worth mentioning that despite these difficulties faced by Dubai, its government has not given up on finding solutions. In recent years, they have actively explored other ways of developing and utilizing water resources, such as seawater desalination and groundwater extraction, in an attempt to fundamentally alleviate supply bottlenecks. In addition, Dubai has also vigorously promoted the upgrading and reconstruction of the urban drainage system to strengthen its ability to respond to extreme weather events. What cannot be ignored is that Dubai is working hard to improve residents' environmental awareness and water conservation awareness, encourage water conservation, and increase investment in advanced water treatment technology to improve the recycling utilization rate of water resources. These measures demonstrate the Dubai government's unremitting exploration and innovative attempts in water resources management. It is particularly important to realize that Dubai's water dilemma is not an isolated phenomenon, but a microcosm of global challenges in the context of climate change. Many regions are facing similar drought-flood dilemmas and need to find sustainable water resources management solutions. In this process, governments, scientific research institutions, enterprises, and the public should all work together to deal with this global problem. Facing the strange cycle of drought and floods, Dubai, as a city located in a desert area, must take comprehensive and systematic measures to effectively get rid of this difficult situation. First, Dubai needs to fundamentally optimize its water resources management strategy and make full use of various alternative water sources, such as seawater desalination and grey water reuse, to reduce over-reliance on artificial rainfall. Secondly, Dubai should also strengthen the construction of the urban drainage system to improve its ability to cope with extreme rainfall events, while increasing investment in related infrastructure to reduce losses caused by flood disasters. At the same time, Dubai also needs to enhance public awareness of the environment and water conservation, encourage the whole society to participate in water resources management, and form a virtuous circle. In addition, Dubai should also actively promote regional cooperation, carry out experience exchanges and technical cooperation with neighboring countries and international organizations, and contribute to global water security while responding to the water crisis. It is worth mentioning that in response to the fundamental problem of water scarcity, Dubai urgently needs to significantly increase the proportion of seawater desalination and reclaimed water reuse. As a desert city, Dubai has almost no available surface water resources and can only rely on obtaining fresh water from seawater desalination to meet urban and agricultural water needs. However, traditional seawater desalination technology not only consumes huge amounts of energy, but also produces a large amount of polluting brine emissions, which has a serious impact on the environment. Therefore, Dubai should invest heavily in the research and development of new technologies for desalination that are more energy-saving and environmentally friendly, such as reverse osmosis membrane technology, electrodialysis technology, etc., to improve the efficiency of fresh water production while reducing energy consumption and environmental load. What cannot be ignored is that reclaimed water reuse is also an important water source that Dubai should vigorously develop. Through advanced treatment of urban sewage, a large amount of grey water can be recycled and used for non-potable purposes such as urban greening and industrial water, greatly reducing dependence on fresh water resources. It is worth mentioning that Dubai has made great progress in the reuse of reclaimed water in recent years. It has built a number of large-scale reclaimed water treatment plants and increased the reclaimed water reuse rate to more than 40%. However, in the future, Dubai needs to further expand the scale and scope of reclaimed water reuse and truly integrate it into the city's recycling economic system. It is particularly important that Dubai must strengthen the construction of its urban drainage system and improve its ability to cope with extreme rainfall events. Although artificial rainfall can alleviate drought if a large amount of rainfall occurs in a short period of time, it will often exceed the bearing capacity of the existing drainage system, leading to serious waterlogging and flooding disasters. Therefore, Dubai should significantly increase the coverage density and drainage capacity of the drainage pipe network, and at the same time build large-scale flood storage facilities to divert rainwater in a timely manner and avoid urban flooding. In addition, Dubai should also actively utilize concepts such as sponge cities to improve the permeability of the urban surface and reduce rainwater runoff pressure through vegetation coverage, permeable paving, and other measures. Thank you for liking, leaving a message, subscribing, and turning on the little bell. We will update the latest news from around the world every day. Continue to use a scientific perspective to explore the complex truth behind meteorological events.